I am super excited you are here, and we are going to keep building those subtraction skills. So of course we have to warm up our brains with important skills that we are going to use all day today. So we are starting with our 10 frames, and we are practicing our pairs to 10 knowledge, but as subtraction. So you are going to be naming the subtraction sentence that this 10 frame represents. Are you ready? Okay, we're starting with 10. 10 minus 6 equals what? 10 minus 6 equals, it equals 4. Can we all read this with me? 10 minus 6 equals 4. That's what we can see by this 10 frame. Okay, back to 10. We have 10 minus 9. 10 minus 9 equals 1. Exactly. Read it with me. 10 minus 9 equals 1. Good job. Okay. 10 minus 3. 10 minus 3 equals 7. Let's read it. 10 minus 3 equals 7. Good job. And last one. 10 minus 8. 10 minus 8 equals 2. Let's read it. 10 minus 8 equals 2. Good job using that pairs to 10 knowledge. Okay, let's practice taking out a 10. So I want you to say it with me, or even before me. We've got the number 90. I'm going to take out a 10. What would be left in our number bond? 9 tens. We took out 1. What would be left? It would be 80, or 8 tens. 90 minus 10 equals 80. 80 plus 10 equals 90. All these numbers are related. Okay, what about this one? 54. We're going to do the same thing. Take out a 10. What's left? 5 tens. We took out 1. What would be left over? There would be 4 tens. So there would be 44 left over. 54 minus 10 equals 44. Or 44 plus 10 equals 54. That is what is so awesome about math. This number bond can show so many different problems. Okay, super scholars, today we are going to continue building those subtraction mental math skills. And today, we're going to do all the steps it takes in our new strategy. So let's look at our learning target for Wednesday. It says, I can solve a subtraction problem by taking from the 10 and adding what is left. So yesterday, we practiced the first step in our solving subtraction using mental math. What we did is we were practicing taking from the 10. When we made the number bonds, we were taking from the 10. And we were doing that because we wanted to find that simpler equation that could help us solve a problem. In this case, when we took from the 10, we found a pairs to 10 fact that we could use to solve. This was the first step we were working on yesterday, to find that simpler equation with our detective skills by taking from the 10. Today, we're going to do the same thing, but keep going and add what is left in our problem to find the answer. So let's look at a subtraction sentence we were working with yesterday. Yesterday, we were looking at 80 minus 6. We started this problem by taking from the 10, but today we're going to finish it. So, in 80 minus 6, equation is a pairs to 10 fact. So with 80 minus 6, we're not going to try and take this 6 from this big 80. We actually want to take this 6 from a 10, because subtracting from just a 10 is way simpler. So we want to subtract 6 from a 10. But where are we going to get this 10 from? Where is there a 10 in 80 minus 6? It's within the 80. We were practicing that with our number bonds. So we're going to take out that 10 from the 80 that we can use to subtract with the 6. So look, as we make our equation, 10 minus 6, we can see that's a pairs to 10 fact, which we can solve super quickly. What's 10 minus 6? It is 4, exactly, good job. So we have part of our answer already. But is this where we stopped yesterday? No, we practiced completing the number bond. Okay, we took out 10 to use, so what would be left over in 80? We took out 10, what would be left? There would be 7 tens, which would be 70. That is still left in our number. So this is where we paused yesterday. We were practicing taking out that 10 and solving with our pairs to 10 knowledge. But we just talked about our next step is we're going to add what's left over to get our answer. So take a look. What's left over? What numbers or parts of a number have we not used? We used the 10 and the 6. What's left? We have what's left from the 80. This 70 isn't being used. What about our answer? This 4 is going to be part of our answer. So we need to add what is left in our problem to solve this subtraction sentence. Let's take a look. Let's add 70 plus 4. What is this? 70 plus 4 is it's a 10 plus fact. This is a simpler equation that we can solve quickly as well. This is what we were looking for on Monday when we were practicing with our place value chart. Okay, 70 plus 4 is what? It's 74. We have our 7 tens and our 4 ones, and together that makes 74. And guess what? 70 plus 4 is the same as 80 minus 6. And we just proved that by breaking it down into simpler equations. So, Super Scholars, by taking out this 10 and adding what is left in our problem, we were able to find our answer of 74. This is just one way we can break apart this fact to find the answer. The awesome thing about math is that there's so many ways to solve one problem. But today, we are working on this mental math strategy and practicing it to master. Okay, so I want you to really make sure you have out a whiteboard because we're going to practice 3 more problems together. Okay, get out a nice whiteboard, get it all set up, and I'm going to reset. Okay, the next problem that we are going to tackle with our math detective skills is 90 minus 9. 90 minus 9. Okay, the first thing we want to do when we're trying to solve this mentally is we want to take from a 10. Instead of taking this 9 from this whole 90, we're going to subtract 9 from a 10. Where are we going to find the 10 though? Where can we go hunting for that 10? It's going to come from the 90. There's 9 tens here, so we're going to just take out 1 to make it simpler for ourselves. So make sure we have taken out a 10. And look, Now we can take this 9 from a 10. So let's write out the equation. 10 minus 9 equals, that's our pairs to 10 knowledge. What's that? It is 1, exactly. Okay, we have part of our answer, but we need the other part. We need to complete this number bond. So if we took out 10, how much is going to be left in 90? 10, what would be left? There's going to be 8 tens, which is 80. There's going to be 80 left. Okay, we took out our 10 and completed the number bond. What do we have to do next to solve this problem? We have to add what is left over. Once we do that, we'll get our answer. But what's left over? What are we going to add together? There's this 80 we still need to use, and this 1 is left. This 80 and the 1 are going to be added together. We're going to get our answer. Let's see. Can you add 80 plus 1? That's a 10th plus fact. So quickly, what's 80 plus 1? It is 81, exactly. We had our 10s and our 1s that when we combined together, we got our answer. So super scholars, if 80 plus 1 equals 81, what's 90 minus 9? It's 81 as well, the exact same thing. So this is the strategy we are working to use to practice how we can break apart problems in our heads and use it to solve using mental math. Okay, we gotta practice some more to keep getting better. So let's reset. But before we keep going, we need to move our bodies. So I need to have you stand up for me. Can you get out of your chair, stand up for our this or that? So my question for you is, if you're cold, when you're cold, what do you like to use to keep warm? Do you prefer to put on like a sweater, a sweatshirt? Or do you like to use a blanket? What do you like to put on when you're cold? A sweater or a blanket? Sweater, you're gonna go right to left. Blanket, you're gonna go front and back. What is your pick? I like to put on a blanket, so I'm gonna go back to front. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got our break, so we can go ahead and sit back down, settle back down, and get your whiteboard nice and ready, because we have more problems to do. Here we go. Our next work is 70 minus 4. Can we solve 70 minus 4 by breaking it apart into simpler equations? Let's see. Okay, what's our first step? What do we want to do? We want to take from a 10. We don't want to take this 4 from this whole 70. To make it simpler for ourselves, we want to take from a 10. So what are we going to do? Where can we get a 10 from? From the 70. There are plenty of 10s within 70. Okay, we have our 10 that we are going to take from. So let's set up that equation. Can you write this out? 10 minus 4 equals what? Equals 6, because we know our pairs to 10. We were able to use this simpler equation by taking out a 10. Okay, what's next? We have part of our answer, but we need the other part. Where are we going to get it? We need to complete the number bond. So super scholars, if we took out 10, what is going to be left? We took out 10, what would be left in our 70? There would be 6 tens, which is So now that we have finished taking out a 10 to subtract, what do we need to do? What do we still need to do to find that answer? We have to add what is left over. So what are we going to add together to find our answer? What's left? We have this 60 from the 70, and our 6 is left over from our pairs to 10. So when we add them together, we'll get our answer. So can you write that out? We have 60 plus 6 equals a 10 plus fact. You can solve this. Is 66. Good job. So, if 60 plus 6 equals 66, what is 70 minus 4? What's 70 minus 4? It is 66 as well. These two equations are equal, and we just showed how. Fantastic job, second grade, taking out 10 and adding what was left over. We're going to practice one more together to make sure we are on our way to mental math. Okay, are you ready? Reset. Last one, here we go. Our next problem to tackle is 60 minus 7. 60 minus 7. Okay, what do? You tell me, what do we do first? We want to make a simpler equation by taking from a 10 instead. Remember, taking from 60 is going to be too big, so we're going to take from a 10. How are we going to take this 7 from a 10? How are we going to do that? Because we are going to take it from this 60. We know there's a 10 within 60 that we can use in our simpler equation. Okay, can you set it up? We're going to take from the 10. What will our equation be? Minus 7, which equals what? That equals 3 because those are pairs to 10. Okay, we have half of our answer. What's next? We got our first simple equation. What are we going to do? We have to complete the number bond, of course, because we still need those numbers. So what would be over here? We took out a 10. What's left? There's 5 tens left, which is 50. Okay, 50 is left. So what are we going to do to get our answer? We have our first simple equation. Now what are we going to do? We have to add what's left over. So what are we going to add? What's left? This 50 is left, and the 3 is left over. When we combine those together, we'll get our answer. So can you write it out? What would that be? Haha, it's a 10 plus fact. 50 plus 3 is? It's 53. Exactly. We have our 10s and our 1s that make up our answer. So, if 50 plus 3 equals 53, what is 60 minus 7? It is 63 as well, because those two equations are equal. So look at that, Super Scholars. We were able to change around these numbers, break them into different parts, and create simpler equations that we already know how to solve, so we can rely on just our big brain. So today I'm going to ask you to solve 2 problems on your own using this exact same strategy of taking from the 10 and adding what is left. Okay, let's look at your challenge for today. Today you are going to be math detectives and solve these 2 problems. First up, 30 minus 7, and then 50 minus 6. To solve these two problems, you're going to use the exact same strategy we did of taking from the 10 and then adding what is left over. You have all the skills to do this. You just have to think about what order and how we're going to break apart these numbers. Remember, when you take your video, I want you to be talking about everything you're doing and why you're doing it to solve this problem. I can't wait to see all the awesome mental math skills that you are building as you solve this problem by taking out the 10 and adding what is left. Okay, Super Scholars, let's go use those awesome subtraction skills and get going.